Folk from the Boat, episode 43. I hope you're very well and you've had an amazing week, and I'm having a particularly exciting week because I have a special guest with me today. Hello, Beth Gifford.
Hello, Anna.
It's so exciting to play tunes with you.
Lovely to play tunes in person, it's so nice.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for coming and visiting us. If you don't know Beth, she has a larger fiddle than a violin, don't you? They have
Yes.
a viola, a really beautiful viola from
1705.
1705.
Yes.
It's gorgeous. And the tunes that you're going to hear us playing are from actually about that time, aren't they? I think they're in the 1698 Playford. And so this is like really, current for the instrument. Exciting. Tell me about lockdown for you, Beth. How has music making been going?
It's been quite interesting. I've managed to get to an awful lot of fantastic online Zoom and fiddle classes. So I've been getting to experience lots of different people's teaching, which has been fantastic. Like the Boston Fiddle Society, Scottish Fiddle Society, have been running the most amazing fiddle workshops with some incredible Scottish fiddlers who I'd never normally be able to get to see teach or even play in real life. And I've been able to do tutorials with them every 2 weeks, which has been actually really lovely during lockdown. I've also been very fortunate to teach my fiddle class, who originally started off as the FDUS Fiddle Level 1 for 2 terms, and then when lockdown happened we decided to just carry on. So I've been lucky enough to do that every 2 weeks and have my class, and we've all been playing fiddle tunes together for the last 20 weeks.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And FDUS is the English Folk Dance and Song Society, isn't it? And that happens, and they're based in Camden in London in Cecil Sharp House, and Cecil Sharp was a Edwardian song and dance general folk collector.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's the main centre for folk in London, so that's really exciting. And you're telling me you're going online with your classes.
Yes.
From September.
So we're starting back in September with a brand new year, and for me that's Fiddle Level 1, so that means starting back with people who have never played the instrument before.
Cool.
Which I've never taught from that stage online before, so I'm very excited to learn about how to do that.
And this is for adults?
Yeah, this is for adults.
So if there are any adults who want to learn fiddle playing with Beth, now's quite an exciting time to do it. I mean, I guess you probably don't, I don't know if you want like an international class for a term. It's just the exciting thing about online teaching is that you can suddenly have lessons with someone across the road, isn't it? Road, across the world.
Absolutely.
And across the road, yeah.
Yeah, so in that respect it's extremely exciting. It's been a really interesting time to be a musician. And like I said, I'm really looking forward to starting this new class and maybe reaching a wider group of people than would normally be able to make it to our classes in London. So that's going to be really exciting. And maybe we'll be able to figure out a way of continuing that for people who aren't able to come into London when that happens.
And there's going to be so many kind of lasting changes. There's definitely going to be moving back as we can move back into the things we've been doing before, but there's definitely been like a time of experimenting with new mediums of communication and new ways of collaborating with people that I think some of it's going to sort of stick, isn't it?
Yeah, I really hope so. Some of it's been so positive.
Yeah, being able to like go to concerts the other side of the world from your home screen, which of course isn't the atmosphere of being at it, but having, part of that experience, it's really cool. Your partner is also a folk musician, isn't he?
Yes.
So that's really nice. So have you been duoing a lot?
Yes, we've been playing a lot of tunes, mainly for ourselves on our boat, which has been lovely.
Yes, I should mention Beth's a fellow canal boater.
yes, although mine's a bit smaller than this. This is lovely. So we've been playing quite a lot of tunes on our boat and doing quite a lot of writing and messing around with music for ourselves, which has been really nice. And my partner, not long before lockdown, had just published this.
The Tyranny of Jigs. I'm really excited about this. I haven't. So Beth's partner is called Matt Brooks. I can tell you that because it says so here. And
oh, there's a picture on the back.
oh, and he looks like that. We probably can't see that, so. But I'm going to. Maybe I can get a hold of a copy of these, and we can have some. So these are all original tunes by
all
Matt.
original tunes.
Cool. And he's a accordionist.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Yeah, I've been eyeing up a 5/4 waltz, so if you'd like a 5/4 waltz coming up, then I think we should make that happen. Take the Biscuit. How did your ceilidh band come to be called that?
As with most bands, we have the band first, and then we found ourselves scrabbling for a name, and we had about 2 weeks in which there was a Google document bouncing around and various people vetoing different options, and then my partner's mum said, "Take the Biscuit," and it should be noted that my partner's family are very good at afternoon tea. It's something that they observe religiously, so it just felt very appropriate to go with that name. And it's also something that the band feels is very important to our ethos as a band. We take our afternoon tea very, very seriously, despite the fact that our band logo is a Jaffa cake.
Oh yeah, there's a contention of big cake and biscuit there, I think.
I'm happy to eat either, it's all good.
One really exciting thing that you're doing at the moment, or not doing at the moment, is running a Ceilidh Society. I love the word society. Ceilidh Society.
Yes. So that's in the village of Stanstead Abbots in Hertfordshire, which is where my parents live, and we set it up, 3.5, 4 years ago now? 4 years ago. Yeah, and we've been running, started off mainly ceilidhs, and now we run monthly concerts, 10 concerts a year,
Fantastic.
in the village hall, and it's really exciting to get to bring lots of different ideas of folk and lots of different acts and artists to quite a small village hall in Hertfordshire, so that people can just walk out of their houses and walk to the venue and enjoy a really nice evening's music. And I'm really looking forward to getting our season back up and running again, probably going to be in hopefully spring 2021, but we're going to have to see how things go.
Yeah, no, it's so exciting, and I really like the exploring different kinds of folk. And we're going to be playing with me playing this instrument, which doesn't get performed in traditional folk bands. But if you look at some of the tune books, there's one on the cover. So it feels to me like the viola da gamba is a really great folk instrument. I mean, we're playing tunes from a time where they perhaps made less distinction between what is folk and what isn't folk. Anyway, had less of those categories. But yeah, I certainly often fall into the am I early music or am I folk, and yeah, knowing which box to put yourself in when you don't really want to fit in a box, that you were just kind of exploring from different angles. Yeah, so I don't know if that fits into your kind of exploration.
I feel like I'm coming at it from the opposite direction to you, because I've been so much in folk for the last 5 or 6 years, but I love all things Playford, and I love exploring older manuscripts. And during my studies, when I was at Birmingham Conservatoire, I did quite a lot of Baroque viola, which I really adored. I wrote an essay with 8,000 words about one sharp in Playford. So I get very absorbed and intrigued in the developments of these tunes, especially over the different editions, and how and what gets included and what doesn't, and how the tunes metamorphose through the time periods. I think that's fascinating, and taking an older thing and making it new again and bringing it back to dancing audiences, I love that. That's one of my favourite things about folk, but also bringing like some of the Baroque ideas back. I really like to get more into understanding divisions and applying that again in a live dancing atmosphere.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to be in a Baroque, improvising string quartet, folk string quartet for dancing, and we had one really good year when we got loads of gigs, and we haven't had many recently. But that's called Mrs. Savage's Whim, and that was all free improvisation around traditional tunes, around Playford tunes, mainly for period dancing, and it was just a really exciting experimental thing to be doing.
That's really cool. And actually, improvising as 4 people, I think represents kind of an additional level of challenge. In fact, it's when music started to be more in 4 parts than 3 is when they really started to write things down. So just as from a sort of 15th century point of view, most things were improvised, and then that sort of point where we start to go into sort of SATB, soprano, alto, tenor, bass, sort of 4 parts is where things got a bit less easy just to make it up. Yeah. So that's quite an interesting experience.
Yes, it takes a fair amount of intense rehearsal, which again is another reason we've all been quite busy with different projects recently.
Yeah, always the way. You've chosen 2 Playford tunes for us to play today, and I was thinking what links them both, and what's really cool about them both is the moving between syncopation and straight rhythms. So we have syncopation going ba 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 ba. So we have like a bit of syncopation and then a bit of sort of more straight rhythms, and that just makes them so playful.
Yes, absolutely. And also the 3/2 time signature. So the 3/2 hornpipe. We get quite a lot of hornpipes in folk music. And they've been around for hundreds of years, but the 3/2 hornpipe sort of disappeared for the last century, and it's now starting to have a real renaissance with John Offord's book, John of the Green. It's got so many fantastic 3/2 hornpipes, especially from Lancashire in it. Actually, I grabbed both of these from his book, so whilst they are in the Playford versions that
I think I've done some of those on some previous folk from the boats. From that book.
Self-plagiarism, excellent. That book, and also just this renaissance in exploring what the 3/2 hornpipe is, because it's...
Do we know how it was danced? No.
Not to my knowledge. I mean, I'm sure there are people out there who know a lot more about it.
Yeah, tell us if there are dancers.
Yes.
Please. Feed in.
But it's just such an interesting time signature, and it's got so much space in it to explore. Just those extra 2 beats in a bar just seem to make the tunes that much more intricate and interesting and unexpected. I've really enjoyed exploring 3/2s.
They also have some really cool names, so I tell you what they are. So Dr. Sham's...
The Sham Doctor.
The Sham Doctor, and I was hearing they don't know exactly, but there was a play called The Sham Doctor. Are you aware of this?
No.
Yeah, there's a play by Ravenscroft about the time the fiddle was being built, called The Sham Doctor, a comedy, obviously. Yeah. And then, so it could have been music involved with that or inspired by that. And look, I don't even know what we're playing. It's
Dick's
a maggot, isn't it? Dick's Maggot.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's one that I actually first came across playing in a youth orchestra arrangement of a folk song suite, folk tune suite.
I like that got the chicken
yes,
wings.
absolutely. Yeah. Whereas finding it again in the folk scene out and being played, it's just got a completely different character.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're both, just very, very fun. In fact, it's funny because the tune, really, the melody really plummets in them, both of them. They start high and they go down, and yet it's not unhappy at all. It's like, it's always sort of bouncing up again. It's really fun. So we are going to play I'll get it. The Sham Doctor and Dick's Maggot.
Thank you.
Thank you.